Hello everyone, I'm Debbie Polachek. Welcome to my channel. Today I had a friend that posted on Facebook that she had these beautiful purses that she had handmade, and I told her to bring some business cards so I could kind of show them off at the beauty shop because they really are beautiful. And anyway, I asked her if she doesn't have any cards, I could make her some. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to make business cards. This little bag lady right here would be cute, but I'm going to do the little heart. And so what I need to do is think of a way that I could color these very fast. I'm going to stamp it on white cardstock. I'll stamp it with the Stays On ink. And the reason I'm going to use Stays On ink is because I can watercolor with that. And I will probably watercolor with my inks, my refill inks. So I'm going to start off with a piece of white cardstock. This card is typically 3 1/4 by 2. And that would put my little lady on the side here. And that 3 1/4 would be just long enough just to fit her in there. And then I'm going to probably do some on the computer, make some little strips with her name and telephone number on there that I'll just place on the side. So that's going to be my plan so far. 3 1/4. It looks like this would be even a little strip that I could use here, so I'll cut these at 3 1/4. And I'll cut all these by 2. One piece of cardstock makes 13 cards, and they're all cut at 3 1/4 by 2. To use my stamparatus for this. Now I do have my pad on here. I like to work with the pad, even with the thicker stamps like this is. Get a piece of my paper out. And typically I like to back this away a little bit to do my stamping. So I will do that like that. And since it's going to be vacant on this side, I will put my little girl right here. But first I'm going to put her right there and see if it looks straight when I do this. So I'll go ahead and stamp that now, and at this time I can go ahead and see if my Stays On ink is juicy enough for this project here. If not, I can re-ink it. Looks like that's pretty good. And is that straight? Looks like she could be straightened up a little bit. Let's see how I can make sure she's straight. I'll go ahead and put my the ends of this straight down, and then I've got this in the middle. I'll put it on this line here, and that's like in the center of her head and the center of her foot. So I think that should be just about right. Well, let's try one and see. So I got my magnet here. Looks like my broken magnet. An inch away from each edge. Now looks like that was kind of off there a little bit, so I'm going to have to move that down just a little in order to get that where I want her to be. So that's about at that 1/4 inch mark. Would be about right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that on my paper here. Try stamping it up. Oh, and I'm going to move this magnet to this side. let's see how that works out. That looks pretty darn good, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to continue with that with all 13 of my business cards here. So I'll just line this up again to where it's at. To make a skin color, we'll look at my color deal here. And this Calypso Coral is pretty close to definitely a cheek color there. So that would be a good choice. Actually, I think it needs a little bit more yellow in it. So I'm going to use a little bit of pumpkin too. Basically, on any natural color, you will, like there's 3 primary colors. There's red, yellow, and blue. And this has definitely got red and yellow in both of these colors, but this one has a little bit more red and this has got a little bit more yellow. Now, is there blue? We're going to find out if there's enough blue in there. There might need a little dab of like a light blue inside of here. Seaside blue. And I would say the seaside blue is a little bit more of a natural color than the balmy blue. So let's try to find that if I have it. Okay, don't look like I have it, but I do have it in an ink pad. So I'm going to take a large stamp pad and probably just put a little right there on that end and see how that works. Then I'm going to take 1 drop of the pumpkin pie and 2 drops Calypso Coral. Take an aqua painter. And now I'm going to squirt some water on that. Looks like I have about half of that is water, okay? And my guess, scraps here. And that's way too much flesh tone. I can see that on my hand, that it's way too much. And actually, I think it needs a little bit more of the balmy blue because that's too orangey. The reason I'm adding blue is because blue is across the color wheel from orange. So if you have red and yellow and it's too orange, you need blue in order to calm it down. Put some water there. And then I'm going to add some of this to there. See how that is. I think that's more of a true flesh color there. I'll dry that off just a bit. Okay. I think that's pretty good. It actually could use a tiny bit of yellow, I believe. Let's see what color yellows we have here. So saffron, it's more of a natural yellow. Put a drop of that in this mixture here. Now I'm going to stick a little of that blue on this block. Grab some of this that I have made up. A little water. See how that works out. Okay, try that. It looks to me that that's pretty darn close. Now if you wanted to add more of the color in there, you could. But I like that, and I think I would like this one for the cheek color. So I'll go with that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and finish out all my little girls here, and I'm just going to put a little of that flesh color that I made in every place on her flesh. Now, where is that? Oh, that's her arm there, her dress. So, am I going to be too careful? Probably not. I want this to be a fast project, so I will not worry about it too much. I'm going to try to stay in line, but if I don't completely, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Okay, now for my next area, cinnamon bar for the hair color. Try that out. Okay, I tried the markers there, the ink markers, but the alcohol markers. But of course, since it was the StazOn ink, they're both alcohol, so therefore it breaks it down, and it gave my highlights a muddy color, so that's not going to work. I'm going to just squirt a little bit of water on there. Just to go ahead and just dab that color on. If I leave a little of the white paper showing, that's fine, because that'll just give it a little bit of highlight in her hair. So in other words, I'm trying to leave a little white area here and there, just to have some highlights in her hair. I'm just grabbing the darker and going where the lines are, trying to go where the lines are, or wherever I think the deepest shadow, which would be in the part, maybe along the edges, around the face. The tiniest brush you have would probably be the best for this, and maybe right inside where the lines are at. You don't want to cover all the lighter lines, and you don't want to cover probably all the highlights that I left, because you want to leave a little bit of highlight. But that kind of gives it a little bit more of a 3D look. Okay. In the part under the bow, on the edges. Probably more on this side than this side, if the light is coming from this direction. Now this is a very watercolory look. It's not a perfect look like we use a lot in Stampin'. But when you're doing a whole bunch of something, you don't want to spend all day doing it. At least I don't. Dress, I'm going to use the Balmy Blue. And I will do the same. Ooh. That looks like makes an unusual end there, huh? Okay, so here we go. The Balmy Blue, a little water added. And I'm going to give it a little bit to the bow. Again, not looking for a complete cover because I want to leave some highlights. Highlights would probably be on the end of this dress. Underneath there would be darker. Maybe a little bit on her blue on her thing. And that's really all you need. Now I think I do like that blue around that edges there, so I'm going to take that and go ahead and sponge my edges with that. Okay, I decided I'm going to let my friend sign her name and put her telephone number there on the bottom of this. And I'm also going to take one and laminate it, poke a hole in it, and get a little, maybe one of those chains that has the little things that you buckle on there or something, and tie this to my purse. And in that way, in case I'm carrying it and somebody asks where I got it, I'll have that information right there on my purse so they can write that down. Okay, as far as the heart, I was thinking something that would probably be cute is using that gold foil there. Go ahead and put a little bit of blue. I I've got a little bit of glue right there, and what I'll do is take a stylus and go ahead and put that heart there and drag it in and let that dry before I put that gold foil on there. This is just our regular liquid mono liquid glue. A little bit of this gold foil stuff, and it does seem to look like pretty good there. But you know, actually, it just now dawned on me that when they do that, they're actually don't have any heart there whatsoever. It's just the hands doing that. So it'd probably have been best if I just went ahead and left that the blue color, and it would look a little bit more like it's supposed to look. One thing I noticed too, that when I flip these over, that ink shows on the back. So I will go ahead and mat these. And what I'll do is give myself a little bit extra. So I'll probably cut these mats to be 2 and probably 1/8. 2 1/8 by 3 or 3/8. And that'll give it a little extra something, makes it even cuter. It's one good thing. The mistakes we make usually can be covered up, and usually the cover up is better than the original. So anyway, as you can see, that makes a real cute little additive to it. And that way it's not pretty. And then when she signs it, I'll bring a black pen so she can go ahead and sign it with a black pen. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.